Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this community live broadcast of the WTRL team Tom Trial. Just double checking really quickly that we are live and ready to go. It looks like we are over on all of the channels. We're live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitter. Depending on where you are liking to watch, head on over to those spaces if you're unaware of the other ones that we are live on. Solo today, everybody. Nathan only for number 157. Dave is starting to do his, he is the voice of American cycling. So he's on the road, hammering out a little bit when it comes to the world of in real life cycling. So good on him. If you do want to visit Dave, make sure to follow him on all of his socials to see where he's heading. He's posting actually a lot where and what he is up to. I believe next week's Belgian Waffle Ride this week. Losing my memory exactly where he's headed, but I definitely saw he was jumping on a plane. Let's go ahead down into the Platinum League, though. That's what we're covering. We're out on Tempest Fugit. I'm actually super excited about this course today. Tempest Fugit being obviously the flattest of the flattest courses in the world of Zwift. This was actually designed as a team time trial course, or not a team time trial course, but a time trial course initially before the expansion with the desert and Titans Grove and all of that was actually launched. I had spent a little bit of time in Long Beach chatting with John Mayfield about what he had envisioned this section of course actually being about. And he had actually said that he, being a triathlete, being somebody who was really into time trialing early on, and part of the reason why he was creating the Zwift platform when he first did this as a project for his own training very early on, before he was discovered by Eric Min and a few others, this was one of the main things that he was up to, and one of his passions was this kind of competition. And so Tempest Fugit was right down his alley of having this flat, all-out course. As you can see on this course, it's kind of this perfect time trial course for just one lap around that timing that you would see in a time trial, and you can double it up, as you can see, for the 37K. Speaking of timings, I mean, if we do look at the records, you will see that as well if you were to split those records in half. So a little bit of history there on why you have, I mean, obviously, you do have, there is a reason why TikTok and Tempest Fugit is also one of the most popular courses in the world of Zwift, because once you start heading uphill, things get a little bit difficult or a little bit different for those of us who are a little bit more vertically challenged when it comes to taking our bikes uphill. But we are back out, though, on this course, and I am going to jump right down in with the DTC Megas, as they are going to be one of our mixed teams out here, mixed/men's teams out here. And they have, it looks like, Laura Perry actually riding alongside them. This is actually a proper mixed team here, as they have quite a few men and women. I think it's split perhaps right down the middle, or maybe 3 men and 4 women here hanging out on the Megas. They went out, from what I can see here, it's going to be the 16 out onto the course. They have a total left of 33.5K. I am going to be watching chat if you do want to hang out and ask questions and get answers, comments. We'll be watching that to bring in your chat from all of the social medias. Appreciate everybody who is hanging out for today. We're going to move forward, though, and take a look at where our lead group is at and who is the starters out here today. One other thing I do want to, or the first to go out, and we do start in reverse order from what were the fastest to or what were the slowest from last week to qualify to what were the fastest. We are in with the lattes. Real quickly, want to jump in with Coalition Nocturne here with a 29.6 to go. We will have checkpoints at 10K, 20K, and 30K. I wanted to highlight something else, that if you did not notice the new in-game sounds, if you did just hear those vultures in the background, and perhaps a couple of extra sounds that are coming through out on Zwift, that did come through with one of the latest updates as well. If you were wondering what are these new noises, and also you may have been noticing that it is coming through in stereo a little bit more. So you are starting to hear noises and sound at different in different ways as it comes by you with some depth perception. Really cool addition. Also coming in through Zwift, getting a little bit more technical as the platform does develop. So lots of little inside stories that are coming on through for everybody today. Coalition S Marks now really leading this out. And this is a really great train here from what we can see right now. Marks, 3.9 watts per kilogram, up into that now 6 watts per kilogram. He may split the group a little bit here with that 400 watts right now. Hopefully, VT can get back on terms here. As well as Bianchi's looks like going to shut down that gap that has opened up. Maybe putting his team a little bit on the back foot here now at this point. Let's see if we can bring in some times, though. This is going to take a little while for that 10K mark for some of the lattes. The Dopios here, we only have, it looks like, Mutant X jumping out on course for today when it comes to the Dopio class. Plenty of espressos. Tutti Frutti's going to be out there to see if they can challenge the Mutants as they are jumping out on course. Go ahead and take a look and see who else is here for the Frappes. We do have Swedish Swift Racers, the first ones to go out. The fastest coming on in from the Frappes is going to be the Two Gas Lemonade. Innovation Aliens is there as well, and Dead and Dirty Blackbirds. Those were the top 3 coming in to this Platinum League. But real quickly here, let's take a look and see if there's been any times from today matching up with the course records. So the course records now: Vienna Espresso, Sox Watts, some old school times here coming on through with that 47.50. It's gonna be Vienna Frappes there with a 50.49 right now. So these are the times you're gonna be having to go up against if you are jumping into the broadcast specifically to try and see what you're gonna need to do in order to take down not just a win but a world record. Now on this course, it's gonna be really difficult to beat that 44 coming in from PO Auto Ceramic Speed. That is one of the fastest teams of all time, as well as a pre-drafting dynamic changes. So we'll see if perhaps we do end up with something new today. But I think we saw the fastest being from, I'm going to see if we can find Enzen Bro, I think this morning went out, or no, Relentless Anarchy with the 46.01 earlier this morning. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But a full minute and a half from PO Auto Ceramic Speed. HDR Bubbells with the 56.04 from Vienna Latte, 53.31. Down to Espressos with Cecil Stefanini Triathlon, 46.10, which is only 10 seconds slower than the current fastest time today, actually. Vikings Fenrir, 47.20. Vikings Valhalla, some very familiar names. And RR Black Rhinos. Those are all super familiar names when it comes to the TT. So obviously, some of the riders that have been doing well over 100 to 200 races out here with us in the team time trial. So, so far from other zones, though, it's gotten pretty quiet as we head into the summer. As you can see, nothing set so far out of any of the zones that have gone out so far. Now, we do have lots of zones throughout the day. I believe it is 19. I think I was corrected last week that we have an insane amount of zones that do go out. NZ Bro Ghost Chups, though, coming out of Zone 2, currently sitting the fastest time and the only time from Vienna Frappes. That'll change up real quickly as the rest of the zones finish up. 54.11. Obviously, I did the Kiwi Crew ride this morning, and, man, that was packed. I think they had over 200 riders in with that. And so, obviously, from the lands down under, the APAC crew is going to start showing up throughout our summer here. In the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, Zwift time is just going to start heating up. We do have a Zert de Juliet there right now with the fastest time for Vienna Latte, 57.30. Then in the Vienna, Enzebro Pie Sandwiches, 59.16 out of Zone 2. Zone 3 has finished up a lot of their times. I'm not sure if they're completely finished yet, but Zed Sun Neowise, HDR Daiquiris currently holding third, and QB Hustlin' Honeys, it's a great name, coming through, holding down fourth for the Viennas. But that's going to be tough to hold on to because Viennas is one of our most stacked and highest participation fields. Something I always like to highlight and really encourage is how awesome it is that we have so many women showing up, actually, for our races each and every week in the WTRL team time trial. Relentless Anarchy, 46.01, as we had said, waiting for some new Dopio times to come on through. We'll see what Mutant X can do. Iter Animales out of Zone 3, holding down first. They've been really competitive last. I mean, that's a fast time to be within 1 minute too of Mutant X in the espresso. Does look like Evo Gladiators and Evo Vortex zone 4 and 1. Now in your top 3, those are your times currently, as you can see, while we wait for the Platinum League to come on through. What's always really interesting is how well the Platinum League does and the participation in the Platinum League. You know, you do get the question sometimes, you know, are they showing up? Are we getting everybody who's the fastest in the Platinum League? And sometimes we do get some population here at higher numbers from other zones. But what I want to also highlight is, man, thank you so much to those who support the reality of the Platinum League and what it represents, that we do get the fastest of the fastest showing up specifically during this time zone in order to compete all within this specific event. Really appreciate the effort that comes in from the whole community around that. Absolutely awesome to see them all here on camera. Eater007, good job to them holding down the fastest time out of Zone 3. We'll see if that holds down. These are the current fastest times for Frappe. Team Nikomata and your top 3, that'll be Filthy Dirty. There's so many dirt teams, they just keep on getting more and more of the best names out there. Eat Dirt 2, we usually see them at the top coming out of Zone 3, and they did not fail this time until we hit Platinum. And Zebro, the Jandal, have not seen them before. That's a newer team. 1 minute back, holding down second. Dirty Rascals Misfits. That's your top 3 right now as we head into the Platinum League. And then last but not least, we are going to be looking at the Zert Charlie in the Mochas for the mixed teams. Urter Chua and WMZ 9 are next. So, and seeing some chatter coming on through. And yeah, okay, this is some great questions. We have so many broadcasts scheduled. I'm just going to so many broadcasts scheduled that just so you know, which is really awesome. I'm loving this. We have the Oz Cycling here on ZCL. We also have the Anzac Challenge coming up this weekend. And we also have, obviously, the ZRL. When you schedule too many broadcasts, we're finding out that you can't bring in the social media integrations as easily. So I will be reading the YouTube chat. The only social media integration I can bring in is going to be the Twitch chat. Twitch chat, you are getting a little extra love this week. And of course, we have some account coming in the 1 week that we focus on Twitch chat, trying to get us to buy followers. Hilarious. But anyways, just so you know, I will be reading the YouTube chat, and I do see a Karsten Ivany. And Karsten is wondering, what is the most popular for the TTT technique these days? And I do think that we are starting to come into a new era where people are realizing, and I did see this with one of the athletes that I work with, and he does stream, actually, Locatus over on Twitch. I worked with him a little bit, and we were having a conversation this past week about team time trials. One part of his training, we do have him doing the team time trials every week. And he believes that for his team, they're starting to come around a little bit in doing a straight line, not fighting each other as much. And it's really starting to be noticed. And as you can see here, I think with ODZ, I think the reality of pack dynamics and the way they work now is really starting to dawn on people as they've gotten more and more used to seeing this, what that you're seeing right now. The fight at the front. When you have the same watts per kilogram at the front of this trying to drive situation with Haselby, you can see Chambers having to back off and not fight Haselby. Haselby just did 4 watts per kilogram for a solid 10 seconds instead of getting the draft on pin there for a second, right? So having to match the rider at the front at the same watts per kilogram, and I mean, depending on weight, of course, and depending on how many raw watts you're still putting out, but still, was that a rest? Was that a situation right there where a rider was actually able to get the rest that they need before they take their monster pull on the front? Most likely not. One of the most frustrating situations you can ever get in a team time trial situation is when you are fighting someone for the wheel that you are supposed to be on. It's not organized about whose wheel you're supposed to be on. And next thing you know, you're putting out the same watts per kilogram. And then if you do that across 4 or 5 riders who are all fighting for the front wheel, all of those riders at that point have fought in order to keep the speed that the front rider is holding in order to keep that speed of that front rider. And then they, all 4, 3, or 2, whatever it is that are fighting, do not get the draft that they have needed. They do not get the rest that they have needed, and you've just wasted an entire pole on the front, essentially. So I just don't think there's any argument at this point any longer. There are a couple other things that you can do, though, about, there's these ideas of, like, gunners, like tail gunners, as well as riders who are second and third wheel that continually just play the plug, to continually plug the any kind of holes that do end up opening up. You have to be a very good, dynamic team to pull that off. You have to be a team that really knows how to move around the avatars out on course and make sure you are not disrupting the rest of the riders in that line or disrupting the draft for another rider. You have to be... and this is the whole idea of how Zwift and the new dynamics is getting it so far away from just a straight watt fest. And I absolutely love that, the development that Zwift have put out there for that. And I think there's a learning curve that's starting to really take place within the community to bring that reality forward. And you see it in the times a lot of times for those that put out less watts per kilogram but end up with a better time. So big, long explanation there, but I think it needs to be said. Definitely needs to be said. As I think there needs to be education in the community still. Even at the espresso level, I ride with teams that, I'm not sure that they don't get it. Like I try to go across teams as much as I possibly can to try and get, a feel for what's happening in the community, jump on in and have some fun with some of the teams. And sometimes it also does come down to the setup that someone has and whether or not they're able to feather and whether or not they're able to actually back off the watts moment to moment. How precise your wattage is from moment to moment, based on what you're actually putting out in your pedals, can be dependent on a setup. So there is that as well. We're in with Cryogen now, as I get off of my soapbox there for a moment with the emus, I believe. Is this going to be the emus? There's a couple of cryogens out here in this latte crew. Do we have 3 different cryogen teams? Just to double check on that, but I believe we're jumping in with the Magpies, actually. And this is the riders that went out third. They're currently holding on to a 14-17. They're tied with the Dirty Rascals Wrath, actually. It's good to see Snakes on the front here making some moves at 168 beats per minute, 347 watts, 3.8 watts per kilogram as they cruise at 42 kilometers per hour. I actually got an email from the Magpies. Appreciate it. And he says, welcome back. Welcome to Throwback Thursday as it brings into focus some of the traditional dress standards of Zwift. This guy's got a whole show for us from the Magpies. I absolutely love it. In this week's episode of Pies Are Us, we are back for the 3rd time in 2022 and the 2nd week in a row, keeping our Platinum League campaign alive. Question, will we beat 9.5 for the dress standard? Oof. Man, this guy, talk about being after the heart of what the TTT is all about in the community. Stephen Brown, man, you are the man when it comes to the emails that come through on features in the Platinum League. A shout out to Paul Snyman, who returns to the engine room after a stint in real life covering 500 kilometers. Are you kidding me? 500 kilometers? This is going to be the man right here out of South Africa. Race in South Africa. There's a photo attached. Okay, let's see here. Oh, wow. We're seeing he did 26. I might be able to actually bring this in. The Snakes, man, just killing it in real life. Let's go ahead and see if we can do something with this here. Nice job to Cryogen bringing in all the information here as see what we got here. So this was Paul Snyman's lunch ride, it looks like. 468 kilometers, elevation gain 5,026. Burned 15,000 calories. You can go find that over on Strava, obviously. Yep, that was flipping brutal. Munga, nice job out here. And appreciate the information coming through. So in this week's pies, we've got Steve as the captain, Doug, Paul, in the CCAT support, Al, Jason, Matthew. Bike is a focus as team course reminder to focus. And Peter. Appreciate all the information coming on through. This is, when talking to Al pre-race, his response was, my socks have been ironed and kit freshly pressed in preparation to dig deeper than deep. And it looks like the Fashion Police. Let's see here. Taking a look here. We've got an S-Works. We've got Oslin. I think they're all on the blue. Yep, they've done a good job, it looks like here. They even, with the setup, they didn't even pick the fastest setup, it looks like, because there's no DT Swiss deep wheels. But I like it. The sacrifice. The only thing I'd say here, though, we've got a big Z sock coming through from Paudler. Well, they've swapped up the socks, and this is going to be the C to the D, or C to the B category differentiation in the socks. That's what's going on here. Almost perfect. This is, I have to say, this is a 9 point. Let's see. Can I find anything? Is this a 10? Chat, help me out here. Is this a 10? I'm going to give everybody just a moment because I'm not seeing anything. And the fact that they have coordinated a 4 and a 4 situation almost pushes it beyond a 10 for me, to be honest. With the way that they have coordinated this is pretty impressive, actually. You see anything in the glasses? Anything? Oh, okay, we got to go. We lost them. There we go. What are you doing, Megas? You're getting in the way, Megas. All right, chat, I'm reading now. And no, we are not going. The Viennas will be starting in just a moment, just so you know, everybody. And I appreciate Trim coming on through, saying brilliant work, as always. Very much so. Nick, appreciate it as well. Bowser's Bike says, they're working guys hard, streaming community races every day now, it seems. Bowser, we are working on it. We are definitely... The crazy thing is I thought it was going to slow down heading into the summer. But because we have the consistency with the ZRL alongside of the TTT, and then we have Asia Pacific time, coming on in with their main Zwift season, we're hitting this moment right now where there is just constant content that's going to be coming at us. How do you get those Adidas shoes? That is a great question. There was an event, I believe, to open them up, and that's all I know. It's actually all I know right now. So maybe chat can help us out with that one. Hodgett, Smallshaw, Ellis, Owen, Wilkinson, and Harper, Muller, all coming in from the Rhinos. What kind of times do we have here for the Rhinos as they make their way through? It is going to be R.O. Wooly Rhinos with the 13:59. The battle is on here. Vikings Valhalla, Vikings Molnar, and the Wooly Rhinos all within 7 seconds of each other. Crowdgen Emus just a little bit off the back of that. They were the fastest team coming on in at a 14:03 though now. So we'll see if they were the second fastest team actually. Vikings Valhalla were the next team of ODZ. Destroyer of Cookies there 28:21, 28:32, and a 28:59. Being a course that has a little bit more distance on it and straight up flat course, just engines need to be on the front pulling as much speed as you possibly can. This may be a course that wears down on teams a little bit more than others as the speeds, whether or not you can keep that consistent, extremely high speed all the way through versus when you have those little reprieves. You're not going to get those. There is no downhill section where you're going to find a little bit of a reprieve for your team. So it's just going to be all-out speed from the get-go that you need to be holding. Really changes things up as far as what kind of effort, the consistent effort that the teams are going to have to put out all the way to the line. So this is really going to test the teams today, I think, especially the as to whether or not there's parity within the team, whether or not there's a evenness when it comes to how kind of watts per kilogram and power and speed all of the riders can produce. I have a feeling you are going to see a lot of situations where riders are just hanging on, while 2 or 3 riders are just taking over at the front for the back end of the course. I was being told that Mutant X are coming through for their 10K probably quite a while ago. Let's see if we can find them out on course and get an idea of where they are at now. And if they... now we're hearing Nathan in the background. We don't need to be hearing me second time. Tutti Frutti and Mutant X battling it out this week in the Doppio. And this is going to be really hotly contested, I think, between the two of those. I think Tutti Frutti has been a little bit frustrated, to be honest, week in and week out in that battle between the two of them, because they were one of the team that was, I would think right now would be unstoppable if all of a sudden this Mutant X didn't come out of nowhere and just start dominating. The other thing about Mutant X is that they have been one of the fastest team in the Electric Spirit Co, as well as the ZRL as of recently. We'll see how that plays out. 25:11 currently. 30-kilometer mark going to be coming up here pretty quickly. We take a look. Can they beat the 44:32? The other thing that's a little bit, at the time of year that we're doing this, and with the depth of field, we're not seeing Osiris no pins. We're not seeing the Canyon Esports jumping in here or any of the top Premier Division level teams. But we are getting a team like Mutant X jumping in here. And so this is kind of their opportunity to shine. It's kind of their opportunity to show, hey, we are Premier Division level, and be like that Premier Division level in a TTT course or at the ZRL. You really need to show that you've got just that you show up and you just have a different speed, a different time zone kind of a at the end of the day. So we'll see what Mutant X can pull off here. 25:11. We're waiting for the swap over to populate for us, just so everybody knows. As it does, we'll be able to jump over and get an idea. Here we go. I think we can find Mutant, and here they are. 23.8 as Mutant with Nielsen on the front. They are doing now. That would be the number I'd be shooting for. He just bumped underneath it. Now back up at the 7 watts per kilogram as Burms gets back on the wheel. Good communication, it looks like, here coming in from Mutant. Solid straight line. That little bit of a gap, though, from Burms, it was probably a push through. This is the difficult part in a TTT, and I can just so relate. Because you have to anticipate the roll through really, really well, especially when a very strong rider goes to the front looking to pull that 50 kilometers per hour all the way through. Now, Burms, as you can see, what is going to be his job is going to be my question, because I'm not sure that Burms' job at this point is to take a pole immediately following this insanity coming out on the front here from the Swedish rider, Nielsen. Burms here is most likely just making sure almost that the rest of the riders are able to actually get a draft. As you can see behind there with Stendersky at 4.4, the watts are low. Burms here, is he going to pull through at 6, or are they going to take some of this speed and just roll it right through? A little bit of confusion at the front, and I think the reality of what kind of pull that Nielsen was doing without Burms actually getting that draft. My question is, and I'm just going to keep on saying it, what game view were you using, Burms? Was it the roll through? Was it the speed that got out of control at that point and you just couldn't close that down? Or was your game view keeping your depth perception off just a tad? It might have been the roll through from the speed. Burms now, as you can see here, completely spent after just trying to hold on to the wheel of Nielsen rather than actually being able to take a pull. So it really, really does come down to these little micro movements of meters to hold the wheels at the right times. 49 kilometers per hour, the team may have lost a little bit of speed, because I have seen over and over again about that 6 to 7 watt per kilogram on the front. That should be holding you around 49 to 50 kilometers per hour, depending on what kind of weight the rider has on the front. So right there, that might have been a second or so lost. Not a huge deal, but at the highest level, those microseconds on a course like this that's this flat, it matters so much. Now you see them spread across here. A little bit of recovery looking to be found. Again, Nielsen, monster pull on the front. that little bit of a gap that had to get shut down, though, everybody had to then slingshot their way forward with extra watts that maybe shouldn't have been being used that way. Now Kaufman backing up as it opens up a little bit. They're doing a great job here, but they're really trying to figure out who goes where, when, and how it those seems still a little bit. But perhaps this is a dynamic team. Maybe they've got something going on here that I'm not aware of, because they are rotating through pretty quickly with somebody on the front consistently. Looks like the infighting stopped. Zandarski here fighting Young, though, a little bit for the front. And rather than that straight line, they really had it solid when it came to the super flat sections just a moment ago. But there is, I think, also a reality of these little jumps that you have, or not jumps. There's no jumps in Zwift right now. It'd be amazing if there were jumps in Zwift right now. But these little bumps, a lot of times riders will overextend, especially at a moment where you feel like the team might fall apart and you're putting that little bit extra out and you're not anticipating that a 1% gradient is on its way. That is something, or a 2% gradient is on its way. Right here, as you can see, the speed is really going to pick up. This is where you'll get a rider who perhaps will roll right through the pack because they're not anticipating, they're not backing off their watts per kilogram correctly to hold onto the wheel. There's the rider right in front of them. So much feathering that has to go on, especially at these extremely high speeds, because if you do lose a wheel, next thing you know, bam, it's 5 meters and you're out. Then you're jumping, and then when you jump back across, boom, you go through your pack. You carry too much speed through. You're not actually going to the front to carry speed. You're just trying to get back on terms. As you do see the rider at the back here rolling right through. Is that going to be not Kenny? Kaufman, perhaps? Burns again? No, it was actually Zandarski who rolled right on through. Didn't end up taking over at the front, though. So good on him. He backed off, but you see the gap he just caused because he put a body in the middle of the entirety of his pack. That was perfectly displayed right there. We should get a replay of that so everybody can see what just happened. He put to the front. He went to the first wheel, but because he didn't actually, it wasn't his position to be in, then he went back to the pack. Everybody got pushed off the wheels in front of them. And next thing you know, everybody's got to close gaps down. Going through the pack from front to back very efficiently and allowing everybody to hold the wheel that they're supposed to be on. Not rolling through your group continually because you keep on trying to jump back on. It's not going to mess things up when it comes to everybody else's wheel that they're supposed to be holding. And then everybody's got to back off, reorganize, lose a couple of seconds, lose some speed. I think this is perfectly showing us straight line, straight line, straight line. Hold the wheel that you're supposed to be on. Now, Mutant, though, they're just insane when it comes to, like, some teams just have so much power, they just muscle through for the win. I'm not sure, though, that this is the perfect scalpel that this, this is that this team could be right now. It's a little bit like a broadsword, I feel like. Just throw it right at this moment in time, and they're just hacking away at this moment. Machete, through the jungle right now with Kaufman at the front with 6.1 watts per kilogram. I'm de-icing Mutant. I'm hearing from Trim Olsen. Nilsson were too strong. Burns is after him in the line. Yeah, and Olsen, I saw that, and it's definitely, you guys are doing a great job. I think you're going to win outright on the day. We'll try and challenge you tonight, as I am going to guest ride for OMG. And maybe Trim, come and watch, and we'll see. I'll see if we can get a good DS tonight. And you'll watch me yell at my team if they don't do it right. OMG, I see you. And get ready for tonight because I just called myself out. So we better get this right tonight. Oh, my God, they killed Kenny. Because now we're on the spot. As Mutant X, we're waiting for their 30-kilometer to go marker. We're going to jump across, though, to a couple of the other categories here quickly. As Carson Arvey is saying, really hard to coordinate a team that has a larger spread of top-end power. It really, really is. Last week, I jumped in with an OTR team that I was, I just would blow it apart and had to really make sure. You have to make sure that you're staying within the limits of the team. So in certain respects, so that you stay on that knife's edge. Is whether or not you let people go or don't let people go is the other thing too. But yeah, it's a knife's edge because the power and the speed at the front cannot make it so that the others cannot even participate, because you're not going to be able to hold that power and speed for the entirety of the 40 plus minutes or so of a single rider. And even if you have 2 or 3 riders that can do that, they're still going to need a little bit of reprieve. Trim Ellison says he's looking forward to the time we set up. I appreciate it, but we'll see how it goes. I think that you guys, like I said, I'm not sure that we're the machete that Mutant X is, but great job on you guys. We also do have, as you can see here, this is going to be Tutti Frutti with Bowden here on the front. And they are a espresso team currently as far as what they are showing, I believe. Or where is Tutti Frutti? I'm not actually showing them on the boards here. Hopefully they're going to come in with a time across. Oh, there they are. 26:33, actually. Or is this going to be Tutti Frutti? I believe it is. Do we have another SZ team out there that I'm unaware of? So currently actually sitting in 6th place. Not something I'd be expecting from the Tutti Frutti team. Interesting enough, because this is definitely one of the most experienced teams and high-powered teams. Maybe, I know Team SZ, did they participate in the, there is the reality of the knockouts also. Some of these teams may be having a couple of riders. I'm not recognizing too many riders, though, here from the knockouts teams that we had yesterday. Also in with the Espressos, we got Evo Espresso, Adam Racing Team Photons, Zedsun Red Dwarfs, PTZ Oric, Cryogen Gulls, Innovation Rebels, Dirt Time Chasers Zetas, and Smurs Frey Espresso. That Smurs Frey team, they have been showing up week in and week out for the ZRL, as well as the TTT, and dominating. We'll see if they continue to do so. They were the 8th team to jump out on course. So the current leaders, or at least coming in the current fastest team. They are also the current leaders of the Espresso at a 25:25 and a 25:11. It's a 37:42 at that 30K mark. I'm going to see if I can bring in some time splits tonight also on the personal stream I'll be doing over on Twitch to see if what kind of comparisons we can get throughout as we go. Get even more pressure on OMG to really make sure that they keep things organized and put the hammer down. I'm going to jump across to the Espressos. I think Mark Santo is going to help me out to do that. I believe. Maybe. Maybe not. And instead, we just have... Oh, and it looks like Mark is hanging out in the pens. Of course, for the one person I clicked on to help us go across to get into the pens, we ended up with him. So it looks like we're gonna jump back on over to Mutant X and see what they're playing at. It looks like Berm's here back to the front. We can also jump over to the ladies' race as they're just getting out on course with the Viennas and Galaxy Supernova, as well as the rest of the Galaxy teams that have been showing up. This is going to be the Platinum League as well for the women as they make their way around. It's we'll make our way to the front end of the Vienna Lattes, and it is going to be at the front of the Vienna Lattes, the WCC team with Kuga Berga. What is that flag? To figure that one out as they head out on course. Mutant X still looking for a crazy time. Can they break the 46-minute marker? 41:10. There's gonna be. I mean, this is right on the edge, everybody. Right on the edge right now. As to whether or not this can happen. I mean, pretty amazing job here. Coming in from that Mutant X team. Extremely impressed right now. WCC Crunchies, though, as this Sandra Kugelberga, the rider that we're looking at right now, she is coming out of Latvia, is what that flag is going to be. She's level 26 Zwifter. and 15 team time trials underneath their belt. So pretty experienced. Jane Pritchard, though, is someone who's a little bit newer to the world of the TTT. So welcome, Jane. Good to see you hammering away with us. Always appreciate the new riders jumping in. This is going to be her third team time trial as they make their way past the vultures and try to escape being eaten. Is Pritchard now 2.6 watts per kilogram on the front here? Maybe this new pickup is making the pain on this train right now, though. Level 22 Zwifter. And as far as races go, Jane with not a whole lot of races, 38 races underneath her belt. She's been on the platform, it looks like, since February 20th of 2022. So welcome, Jane, to Zwift and Zwift Racing. She did the WTRL team time trial back on April 7th, as well as on the 14th. And then that's going to be it, I believe. So, and I wonder if that was kicked into gear here. Jane, if you end up watching this broadcast or if you find it anywhere, I want to know if doing the Zwift Time Trial Tuesday Tempest Fugit race on April 5th said, hey, maybe I like racing. And you were like, I'm going to go find a team to race for. And jumped in 2 days later to a WTRL team time trial. Because that looks like what had happened from the data that I'm looking at here, Jane. It's great to have you in the team time trials. Welcome to the community of Thursday Suffering, as we do on the weekly here. Let's go ahead and jump around a little bit and see where times are starting to come in. We're 8.4 in. These were the first to go out, so we're not going to quite be getting any times just quite yet for the ladies. We can watch. This is the insanity of Mutant X actually coming across the line. They actually just came across. So Mutant X are done and dusted. We also got ART that you can see here. They're 35.6 in, so they only got 1.5 kilometers to go at 46.12 right now. Jump back over to the ladies in just a second, as we do want to highlight a few of the teams in the espresso that were not able to jump across to. Dawson, Hoodles, Scotty, Nichols is here as well for the ART team. Hicks is really starting to press the pace here at the front. I did just see a few orange numbers now, as bumping up to 47 kilometers per hour. The battle here for ART that we're going to try and take a look at, that's going to be the question, as ART right now holding down for fifth place, 39.25. They've got a battle between them and the Gulls. Evo Espresso there at a 39.37. They've really placed themselves well with a solid 12 seconds, 13 and 12 seconds on either side. So perhaps they've kind of etched out that fifth place. The Gulls there with the 39.13, trying to chase them down. Evo up ahead are just finishing up. That will be an Evo Espresso, who I believe may have brought some time back actually on. Evo Espresso might have done it. They might have taken over that fifth place, actually, from what I just saw, between that 30 and 37 kilometer marker here. Now we are jumping in with the PTZ team. Ulrich, they're at a 38.37 the last time we checked. We compare these times between Mutant X. At a 37.42 was the fastest time. So you do see just that next level coming in from the Dopios here. Dirt time chasers, Zetas, 38.07, solid 30-second gap from PTZ to them. We move our way backwards here. Actually, no, we're going to get all kinds of jumps a little bit here, everybody, as a lot of teams are finishing up and they pass each other, and in the riders nearby list, that does cause them to pop up for accidental clicks a little bit here. In with the the Zetas. This is the currently placed second place team. They are trying to unseat right now Smurs Frey Espresso, who have been the reigning champions week in and week out. But, the Time Chaser Zetas, there's something about this dirt team and these flatter courses. I've raced them before. Well, I've been racing against dirt for quite a long time. And once in a while, they'll show up with this monster dad team that just can put out massive watts here from the engine room. As the baby bottles are cooling in the fridge. And Squirrel, I think, here is making that happen. Dad's inside Ryan Trainers here trying to take out Smurfs Frey Espresso. 1 second was the difference. And they can see the time difference live behind them. They might have done it here, but they've got to press on. You can see Lemp now at this point here. This is going to be Smurfs Frey. Have they dropped anybody off? No, they have not. They're full team versus full team. 10 seconds is the difference. You have Chemnitz here, a guest rider from the WLC team, it looks like, coming out of full German flags almost here. Lemp, the only difference at the front. Now another pull through from Grupp, and they know they've got to bring back that 9 seconds. Is there anything left for the Zetas? Everything's on the line. Matthias now toward the front, pushing 6.6 watts per kilogram, trying to hold on to that 9-second gap. I think they have done it at this point. There's a couple of little bumps in there, but 9 seconds, not on a flat course like this. Zetas, are they going to pull it off? This is absolutely amazing to see. Riding also in a beast mode, presented by Rose Kit, it looks like. So a little bit of a mixture between the teams here at this point. Squirrel, that's a pickup. So WLC versus beast mode presented by Rose, something we saw play out yesterday as well. Fun to see a little bit in the knockouts. But it looks like Squirrel trying to keep him over that 50. It's not going to happen. Not seeing 50 kilometers per hour right now at a 1% negative gradient at the end of this race. They are spent. Obviously, they're coming into the final kilometer, and if they can't even pull those kind of speeds and numbers, there's not a lot left on this team as they come across that final sprint marker. They're about 400 meters to the line now. They need to get up and out of the saddle because Smurfs Frey are coming on hot, but they've opened it up again to 12 seconds. Smurfs Frey perhaps only with a couple of strong riders left because they are fading on the front, actually. And the Zetas, they may have done this. Espresso might be taken down. New champions, it looks like, perhaps, but will it stand for the rest of the day? Nice ride here from the Espressos and the Zetas to take perhaps this down. We'll still have to wait for the back end data to come through. This looks like more than a minute to me, though, at this point. As Grupp takes over again at the front, as well as Lep. These are the team leaders for the power right now, but they keep dropping their teammates. 4 of them have to come through. Rainer now on the back. They can let those 3 go. Chemnitz just needs to hold on and sprint with his teammates to the line. Yep, let it go there. Yeah, they're just going to say 3.2 watts per kilogram. Let the 4 go. But now it looks like, no, Grupp has to kick again because if he goes off the back, then it's just done. Chemnitz now slingshotting through, but will they grab onto the rock as it comes through? And it looks like he's going to pull 7.5, 53 kilometers per hour, trying to close down 12 seconds that they lost to the Zetas. We'll have to wait for the results as it comes through. What a battle in the Espressos. Solid battle all around. Nice job, the men in the Espressos out there today. We're going to go ahead and jump across on back to the ladies as they are rounding out their 10 kilometers as the men have mainly finished up across a lot of the categories. At least we have the Espressos finishing up. We'll see if we can get into a few of the other riders. You can see the mayhem that is the team time trial here playing out in front of us as everybody just puts their head over their handlebars and tries to catch some breath. Does look like we have a catch being made here. That's going to be the Gentus, it looks like, coming through. Oh, excuse me, it's the Rockies coming through. We'll see if they can keep things organized. They use this awesome SKCC kit, as you can see. There's going to be Rebecca on the front, waiting up a little bit for her teammates. As they did just come through that 10K marker, we should have some times. We'll see if we can bring them in. It looks like we do have a couple of times. Kirchmer Team B's in the Vienna Lattes, currently with a 15-minute. 11 seconds back, it's going to be Galaxy Supernova Surge at a 15:11. Rave against the Machine, 15:47. The Rockies at 15:44. Got some Spice Girls for R3R at that 16:19, and then 16:40 right now for the WCC Crunchies. Now, got a tough spot going on here. The Gentus, might have some Discord yelling happening right now. Literally Discord in the team at the moment, as well as probably some Discord chatter happening right now about, hey, we gotta bring it back just a tad here, and that was from going through WCC. They were unable to really uh, jump through the team, which made it difficult. It looks like now. Look at this though, Galaxy on the hunt for both of these team in the green kit now, and this is going to be Galaxy Supernova Surge, who have that 15-11 right now. They were the third to go out, but look at Galaxy Supernova Velocity just flying with a 14.55 at this moment. So look at this team. But what is even happening here? They all use the same kit. For a second there, it looked like we had a team of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 12 riders or 13 riders for a second, but they just are using the same kit, which was kind of fun, actually. But moving back to Rave Against the Machine and their new Rave kit that launched in the last couple of months. One of the most, I would say, prolific women's teams out on Zwift right now. They are all about racing. That is what Rave is main focus is when it comes to their support of women on the platform. We absolutely love what they are doing. This is going to be Tiffany on the front coming out of the US of A. Luis now here. Luis here out as well. And then it is going to be Catch, though, coming in from KC, Kirchmer Team Bs. And I have a feeling last week, Kirchmer Team Bs struggled a little bit, I felt like, for some reason last week. And so they ended up being the 5th to start. But that is not last week's performance, I don't think represents what they can get done. And I think that's why we're seeing such an early catch here. Jesse to the front here, and you can tell they are just like, not this week. Time to give it a go. 41 kilometers per hour, pressing right on through this German team for the Kirchmer Cycling Team Bs right now, holding down 5-second difference here between them and Galaxy Supernova. 2 seconds back to the Crate Crunchers. We've got a race on our hands in the Vienna Lattes. It is a 7-second spread between the top 3 teams within the women's Vienna category right now. See if we can bring in a few more of the teams here, but KC is going to be, I think, the furthest up at a 14-kilometer marker. And Simone's going to have to hang on, though. Claudia, Katya, straight line. I think this is just really, I don't know if she's trying to, I don't know if this is struggling because she may have just let the gap go a little bit because she's having to put out 4 watts per kilogram while Alice is doing similar on the front. So that is a little bit of struggle. That's going to make things, let's see if she backs off well here. 3.2. Oh, but the speed through. She did a good job. Now back to 1.1. The depth perception there on what kind of speed she needed to carry through was a little bit too much, but they are going to weld it all back together. Alice continues on, taking this crazy pull, and now, see how that works? What are we seeing as the theme, everybody, here? This is like the tutorial, TTT tutorial with Nathan today. The theme that we continue to see is that if you jump to get back in with your team, be careful because you may disrupt everybody's line and everybody's draft. And when you back off and you end up on the front person's wheel and you don't just take over that position and you move your way backwards, then a lot of people might have to move backwards with you as well. So just a heads up there, everybody. There's a lot of great learning lessons coming through from, I wouldn't say, I mean, that's a little bit of, I would say, mistakes out there. Foot now coming on through. Tasman is here as well. Some of these old school names that have been around for a long time. Good to see Tasman coming out of Scotland, still racing with us. And that is going to be the AHDRL Crank Crushers. They're the ones holding down that 15:02. If we take a comparison right now between the time that the Crank Crushers are currently throwing, see if we can See, 104. So they're going to be able to watch live what kind of time that Galaxy is doing up against them. And the Crank Crushers, I think, have actually brought back 4 seconds on Galaxy Supernova velocity at this point. And in the first 10K, Galaxy Supernova velocity went out super hot here. But will the Crank Crushers actually be able to pull something off here? Because Carol here from AHDRL leading them out at 41 kilometers per hour, holding on to that 4 seconds. And this is going to be crazy because the way that this plays out on this Tempest Fugit, with the way that they put the teams out on course, you are able to see the fastest teams around you the entirety of the race that you're comparable with from the week before. And because this course is so flat, you don't get these sections where like you will go uphill and just be able to grind something out, grab some time. This is just this slow attrition against these other teams, eking out as much as you possibly can in speed and advantage. Brandy to the front, 5 watts per kilogram. A little bit of a punch there. That's going to put Sally here in the hurt locker a tad. See if she can close this down. That might, the question is, these little punches, you have to anticipate those. One thing that a really good DS does in the TTTs is they will anticipate those punches and they'll say, all right, someone else is changing the guard at the front. Those who are pushing the pace of the front is changing. There's probably going to be a little bit of a surge or a little bit, especially if this rider is stronger. Anticipate that surge. Go with it. Don't overtake them, but just make sure you've got that depth perception correctly and hold on to that wheel. A lot of times you have to do a good mixture of watching the avatar, watching the depth perception that's in front of you, as well as the watts per kilogram on the right-hand side. Got to take in a lot more than just the watts per kilogram of the riders that are around you. Do a TT well. All right. In the ladies, though, this week, I believe it's going to be in the Vienna Espressos, a 14-17 currently for BBB. Enza and Bro Pavlova's got their work cut out for them to bring back almost 30 seconds now at this point, only at the 10-kilometer marker. So BBB might be walking away with this one. Sox Watts Odd Sox currently holding down that 14:30. See if we can jump across to the frappes and get an idea of how this is playing out as we have looked across the entirety of the Vienna lattes at the moment. Our 3-hour Spice Girls were the first to go. We do have Electric Spirit Co. Cosmonaut. Talk about, you know what I absolutely love about Electric Spirit Co. is that in the community level, we have awesome racers coming through from them right now. Obviously here in the Vienna Frappes, the Vienna, I'm not sure if they have anything across Vienna Lattes or Viennas, but the fact that they have teams at every single level of racing, and then they also have this team now at the highest level of racing that we saw show up yesterday in the knockouts race. Great job. Just really want to celebrate what Electric Spirit Co. is doing. Then they're also running races as well. And getting really creative with these races. What they are doing with, I heard about this new race that they're going to be throwing out there as a single day tour. Be on the watch out for an announcement with that, where I think it's like 4 or 5 races all in a row, short little punches, but a little bit different between each other. That'll be coming up. So be on the watch out for Electric Spirit Co. putting that out as well. So talk about some passion coming through the community here. We have a women's team here in the Vienna Frappes that's hammering it out, and we'll find them out on course here in just a moment. And then we also have them at the highest level in the, is Katie actually in here with them? Katie Loker. Nice job yesterday, Katie. Absolutely killing it. And jumping in with the Vienna Frappes now. See, Cote, Lyle is here as well. Anybody else that was in with the knockout team yesterday? Because I know Katie had jumped in and was one of the crazy sprinters up front, I believe, in that race. And it looks like we're going to have Electric Spirit only 6 seconds behind Sox for Watts. Odd Sox, they're crushing it on the riders that started ahead of them, B2B, I believe. Did they actually catch already? Race R3R, perhaps, too. as we look through here. But the real battle is going to be between Sox Watts, Odd Sox, Electric Spirit Co. Crush Pod Spice Frappe here trying to make the chase. Looking really organized, though, honestly. Right around New Zealand, Leanne. It looks like Sarah Pax is here as well. Carly Graham, Justine Walsh, Leanne Daly. We've got Nan Deedford McLean, Regina Langhammer, Sarah Paxton, Simon Graham is there as well. I believe perhaps Simon is DSing. Have to wait and see on that. For the Crush Prize Spice Lot Frappe, excuse me, one of the most experienced teams actually jumping in here with Nan Deerdorf, McLean coming in with 54. 54. Team time trials. Out of the Netherlands. This is going to be Nan right here. Level 33 Zwifter. That tells me, being a level 33 Zwifter, that team time trials is like the main thing that she does. It's absolutely awesome to see. Going back all the way to 2020, November of 2020. NGNM Women Crush Pod Wednesday training ride was her first thing that we're seeing over on Swift Power. So she's been a part of this No Gods, No Masters brand for quite a while. So obviously getting that in game perhaps has been a big goal here for Nan and the rest of the team. And it's great to see that awesome kit that they were able to get in game. On the Tron bike, a little bit of all of their own fashion across the board. I'm actually loving the setup here coming from Nan. Look at this. She got the. Is this going to be the Adidas or no? What are these black shoes? And I feel like my garage needs an upgrade. The more I look at these TTT fashion situations, my garage just needs a serious upgrade. I need to start chasing after some of this in-game swag because, you know, I just show up to races and race for training, and don't end up looking the best comparatively to the rest of the world of the Zwift riders and racers that we're out here with. So, Espen Hodvik earlier is saying Blob or Lime would claim most watts are wasted having to close gaps. Espen Hodvik, I would agree with you 100%. That was quite a while ago, that if you have to close gaps, then more watts are wasted. So it's kind of like if we were going to compare it to an FPS, more bullets are wasted if you can't aim your gun. I would agree with you. Like if you are pulling the trigger and you are unable to click heads, then you're going to waste bullets. So then at that point, you might just get a shotgun and walk up to people rather than try and do the insane laser moves that some that can aim a gun do in some of these first-person shooters. So if you want to be safer, yeah, sure, blobbing up might be the way to go. I think it would be lower skill cap is what it comes down to then when people are aiming toward the blob. It is an easier way to go, but it would not be the, in my opinion, fastest way to go if you wanted to make that comparison. Chad, I'd love to hear your opinion on that, though, on that comparison. I think it's a pretty good comparison. Blob is more of a shotgun, run up, and just make it happen, whereas the aiming that it takes for keeping the straight line TTT method, it takes a lot more precision and finesse to make that happen. And so it can be difficult. And, you know, getting an entire team to be on the same page, I mean, obviously, that's one of the biggest challenges in all of esports is finding somebody to play with that can play at the level that you are playing at in order to have the results that you're looking for. Everybody's got to show up and be able to work on it. And so here with Coalition, as you can see here, they're El Mathia, 14:58, currently at the 10-kilometer marker. They're just going over that 20-kilometer marker. We should be getting some times coming on in. Looks like Electric Spirit are having quite the ride out here today. What's happening with Socks for Watts, Odd Scots? Look at Tennille Irish is in the house again. He messaged me at 2 a.m. this morning saying, "What are you doing riding your bike?" And I was like, "Oh, we got a stream, and I'm getting a quick little ride in." As she called me the Zwift addict. I don't know, Trish. I think we're in Tennille, excuse me. I think because it looks like Trish in the in game here, Tennille. But I don't know. This is gonna be a battle between me and you. Who is the? I don't think I'm even close. I don't think I'm even close. Tim Searle completely walked away from all of us quite a long time ago. H Wheel now taking over at the front for this Rave On team. 1451 was the last time that they have. They're in the conversation here. I think they're going to come through, though, at a fourth place at the next time check. We'll have to wait and see. Wheel. This is going to be. I'm going to have to do some clearing, do a little bit of a deduction here. But Connie Tang is out here for Rave On. Debbie Dudas. Heil Lorila, Karen Tiet. It's going to be Mike Wright and Patricia Christoph, Sandra Fander, and Tennille Irish all riding for this team. I think they did drop off perhaps a few because I'm counting in the signups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders. We are down to 5 at this point as Lorila does take over at the front. Solid 4 watts per kilogram. Tennille now coming over the top. Level 49 is Zwifter for Heli Lorila. Unfamiliar with this rider, actually, coming out of Finland. I shouldn't be unfamiliar, though. That's my bad. As she goes all the way back to 2018 on the platform, almost a solid 4 years riding for Team Rave. And as far as racing goes, I'm going to see. She's been doing, it looks like racing. Well, no, it's mainly workouts, it looks like, for the first couple of years. And then start jumping into perhaps some of these. It's mainly, it looks like, women's rides. So I think the Rave, that's the cool thing about Rave, is I think Rave really has created a space for being so they're kind of like the Team Fearless was back in the day. You know, one of those first women's teams that jumped onto the platform, women's only focused team, and really encouraged the uptick of women's teams then to also do something similar. I think Rave are kind of this next generation of that we're seeing amongst the crowd here. Now, I did get a message come in, I believe, from Nat Lawrence is out here racing. Smashing it right now. And I believe, I appreciate the mention in the story there, Nat, 4 socks for Watts. And it looks like Natalie, this is a recent re-entry, it feels like, of Natalie Lawrence to the world of Zwift racing in the last couple of months here. Actually, I mean, even in just the last week. And Natalie, as you can see, one of the strongest riders that we have on the platform in real life, elite triathlete. Clark, Wadana White's there as well. Ryman looking to close it down. Looks like it's a little. We've got no Leah Thorvaldsen this week. I think Leah's probably getting ready for some in real life racing. As White now takes over at the front. Sox Sweats Odd Sox with a 28.43. Let's take a look at the times. 29.09, 29.22, and a 29.32. That is going to be your top 4. The battle, I think, between Ravov and Crush Pod is going to be real, as well as Coalition Amalthea. Sox Sweats Odd Sox are doing exactly what they usually do and walking away with this one. Good to see Rockpin coming into the chat. Appreciate that cheering on Coalition Amalthea. Actually, I've been from quite a while ago. I saw. Has there been any chat about TTT launch mode like the regular TT? There is a little bit going on in the background, but there isn't anything official that I know of. Nothing official about anything actually going to happen. That has been a conversation for a couple of years, actually, RC Ivany. For those wondering what I'm talking about, RC Ivany is over at the Twitch chat and wondering. There has been conversation here and there, and a little bit of over on the Zwiftcast, as well as in the community, some forum posts here and there that have speculated on a regular TT mode that would launch into Zwift for the TTT. Obviously, we do have TT mode that launches right now, but would we be able to then bring that over to the TTT? There's been conversations and speculation about it. We've got nothing confirmed, though, that is going to be coming down the pipeline. Appreciate the chatter, though, coming over at the Twitch channel. Again, if you're wondering, where is Dave and why do we only hear Nathan's voice this week? Dave is doing in real life commentary right now. Make sure to go ahead and follow him over on his socials, as it looks like he's going to have fun. Show up to some of those in real life races and hear it in real life. The awesome commentary of Towle, as well as getting into the growth of American cycling. Now, as you can see here, Almathea, Coalition, B2B. We have not highlighted them yet as they go right on through R3R. Tracy now, 3.6 watts per kilogram, 170 beats per minute. Coming out of the UK. A little bit of a mixture of the team makeup here between them. It looks like it's mainly riders out of the UK and one rider out of the USA for this B2B team this week. It's going to be Caroline Swan, Jill Otley, Katie Hedrick, Sarah Ann Lucas, Susan Waldbrook, and Chasey Wilkinson Begg. And that is going to be, I think, Sarah's going to be the sole American, Sarah Ann Lucas. Very familiar name when it comes to the, oh, excuse me. No, sorry about that. Sarah's coming out of the UK. That's my bad. It's Head Trip. Which we'll try and figure out who exactly Head Trip is. And I'm loving these names. They keep us on our toes, that's for sure. Caroline Swan most definitely coming out of the UK. Jill Otley as well. Tracy's definitely coming out of the UK as well. And as we do our little bit of a process of elimination here, the American on the front is going to be Katie. Smashing it right now. Level 29 Zwifter. And looks like very new, actually, to the world of racing on Zwift. Welcome to the platform. Very cool to see. Always love that. And in the Vienna Frappes. Oh, yeah. Katie here only with, this is going to be her second. Is that right? This is actually going to be her second. What's with the pickup from the UK? I want to know how this came across here, because all of those British flags there, and then one American, and super new to the world. Only 17 races, from what we can see here. Looks like the Zwift Power account only going back to February 6th, and did the IWD rides, actually. That's pretty cool to see. With Kristen Kolchinsky and Catherine Curry, as well as the Cecilia Hansen and Mary Wilkinson ride. So pretty cool to see. Obviously, Katie with an eye on the world of esports. Tracy now to the front. B2B. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these times as they start to come in. And it is going to be a 30-33 here for B2B. They're going to have to step it up, as they have lost a good amount of time here at this point to the Coalition Amathea. 27 kilometers in, 40-49. I'm going to take a quick look here at the times they're starting to come in. Let's go ahead and take a look for the results of the men's. This is obviously a longer straight grind out here. Okay, these boys are flying today. I'm not sure if the world records have been broken. We may be pretty close. These are the... No, I don't believe any of the world records have been broken. These are the standing world records on Tempest Fusion. 2 laps, 37.1 kilometers. Looking back, though, it looks like it is going to be the current situation for Mutant X at a 45.56. Relentless Anarchy, 5-second difference coming out of zone 4 right now. We're still waiting for the rest of the zones to come in out of the rest of the day. Heading on over to the Espressos. The Dirt Time Chaser Zetas. They did it. They chased down Smurfs Espresso. Eat Dirt Animales. They hold on for third right now. PTZ Ulrich there for fourth. And it's going to be the Cryogen Gulls with the 47-47 currently in with the mixed for the Espressos. Adam Racing Team Photons, 139 back for sixth right now. Mainly PL at the top, so still earning their spots, but now we do have Evo Gladiators there in seventh, Vikings L in eighth, Wisp Espresso in ninth, and Evo Vortex Psychopaths coming on through for that 10th place. There was a battle for the Eat Dirt 007 holding on, and they were able to do so by only less than 2 seconds as two guys, Lemonette, coming out of the Frappes, put a solid time of 48:30. We'll see if that's challenged through the rest of the day. Again, Platinum League showing that they are still the fastest of the fastest with only those two. I'd say 5 out of the 10. So still, nice job to them out there. Team Nekomata, though, for third place right now, coming out of Zone 5. It is going to be Sisu Racing Moki there in for fourth from the Platinum League. RR Rapid Rhinos in fifth. Swedish Swift Racers F in sixth. Innovation Aliens in seventh. Filthy Dirty in eighth. It's going to be Dirty Steam Engines in ninth. And ZR Scott Kelpies coming on through for 10th place. Lattes now for Vikings Valhalla, 50-55. 9 seconds back for RR Woolly Rhinos. Then Vikings Mjolnir in for third. Dirt Time Chasers Megas in fourth. Cryogen Emus in fifth. Very close racing, all within a minute there in the top 5. WLBB Latte 3 rounding out 6th place there, just a minute out and 8 seconds. TFC Lancaster in 7th. It's going to be Team Destroyer, ODZ Destroyer Cookies in 8th there. Dirty Rascals Wrath and Eat Dirt 2. That's your top 10 right now as it stands. Almost all Platinum League. Big shout out to the Platinum League riders there in with the lattes. Our Sumatran Rhinos making it happen. Swedish Swift Racers out of Zone 8. 50 seconds back. The Rhinos love the flat courses. That makes a lot of sense, to be honest. As two guys pump Lilo coming on through for third. TFC Hurricane, 213 back. Some big spreads, it looks like, here in with the Mochas. Not what we usually see, to be honest. Sisu Racing Honey in 5th here. Zedson Stellar, Team Type 1 Gluconauts. That's 5th, 6th, and 7th. The battle was right there, though. That's really close. So there was like this kind of jump back between 5th and 8th place. Sisu Racing Honey, Zed Sun, Stellar, Team Type 1 Gluconauts, and TBR Renegades, all within 3 seconds. Right there is your Mocha battle today. All in the Platinum League as well. Really cool to see how close the racing is there within the Mochas. Zed Sun Nebula back 250 total at 57.50 and 9th place. Vikings Gardener, 58.03. That's the situation currently amongst the men. Women still out on course. About 7K to go for B to B. Let's see if we can jump across to the Viennas and see how they are playing. And whether or not this battle that we've been seeing week in and week out is still going on out on course, because the Owls have kind of been this, they're not new, obviously, not new at all. The Owls, older women in Lycra, they're definitely, something happened to the Owls. They're just kind of like hanging out in like interesting spots out on course. Here we go. We did jump in. I don't know where, I don't know if there was oh, I'm done. This is over. It's over, is what one of those riders was saying, and just decided to ride off into the sunset in the desert there for a moment. But this last couple of weeks, Dallas have turned something new on. Older women in Lycra, all these riders promote the fact that they are riders that are over 60. And Pam here, with their age in game next to her name there, coming out of New Zealand. 64 years of age. I want to be like Pam when I grow up here and winning bike races. They came in 6th place on the week. 32:01 right now at the 20K marker as we bring these times up on screen. It is going to be Zed Sun Hydra, 32:01. That's the battle for 4th and 5th place. Then there's a pretty big time gap to AVC Mount Virgin. Atom Racing Team Electrons with 3021 then. So that's your top three. Evo Meteors just have the time that's come through so far. They were the second to go out on course. See if we can find the Evo Meteors, and we'll give you an idea of how things are playing out with that team as they make their way around. WTRL, this is going to be, is this the Bandits here that we're jumping in with? And Evo, though, this is going to be S. Kirby leading the team. 31.7 as they make their way back to the starting point. Evo Meteor is starting only with 4 riders this week. Coming in with the 47.59, though. WTRL What's Up Bandits, little ways back, over 2 minutes, as we did just jump in with them a moment ago. We're starting to see where teams shine and where they struggle this week, because I have a feeling that some of these teams actually enjoy the uphill grinds versus some of these teams that just like the flatter, push the pace course, raw wattage type courses here. Actually, interesting to riding with lighter riders out on Zwift this past year a little bit more, and getting the reality of how difficult it is, like the kind of watts per kilogram they have to hold just to grab onto a wheel amongst riders who might weigh 20 to 25 kilograms more than them. It's insane the amount of power you have to put out to hold on with a strong rider at that kind of weight difference actually here. So Kirby here, well, 20, say 15 kilograms. I'm doing a bad math there between kilograms and pounds here. But Kirby now to the front for the Evo Meteors is going to be Sarah Kirby. She's got 67 races underneath her belt. Jose Smulders is here as well with 5 races. Jenny Walker with 12 races with the WTRL. Tracy Eldridge Jones and Caroline Hirsch. Excuse me, they're riding for Rave Hardcore. There's only 4 riders, actually. So Tracy Eldridge, Sarah Kirby, Jose Smolder, and Jenny Walker. And Charlotte Bival is here, but I think that perhaps is going to be the DS rather than a starter. As we did say, only 4 came across the line out here today, or perhaps just didn't make the start line. Zedson Hydra comes through with a 47.51. That's a battle between them before 8 seconds, as Hydra are trying to chase down this team that we have in front of us right now. This is going to be 5 riders for Zedson Hydra with Anna Siga Joklis. It's going to be Caroline Devine, Jane Middleton, Lisa Beck, and Maggie Keene. Met Gordon Valentine. And Tom Bick, I think, is doing the DSing here for the team out here. And so Middleton now, Jane, 2.4, no heart rate up at this moment. But Bick now from the US of A on the front. It's a pretty international team. Only 2 coming out from the same country, and that is going to be Bick and, does it say pastry? Sea Smoky Pastry in the name. I'm loving that. Hulk is here as well, coming out of the that's probably going to be Anna Siga. That would be, as I have spent a little bit of time in Iceland. So Anna Hulk is what she's putting in the name. Loving it. 295 races for the Hulk. And has been doing a lot of the Platinum League. I've got 6 pages, actually, of things here coming from Anna Hulk. So good on her. Coming out of Iceland, holding on right now at 166 beats per minute. What I want to know is who the Smoky Pastry is. I love it when they throw me these curveballs and we have to do the deduction. But Met here. I'm not sure if this is going to be Met. No, this is coming out of Denmark. So this is going to be Met out of Denmark. 170 beats per minute right now. Zed's son will leave the Sherlock Holmes for now with them, as they just, it looks like, got beat out at that 30K marker by the Owls. 3 seconds the difference within the Vienna crew right now. Atom Racing Team Electrons, though, are just walking away with this one today at 46 minutes right now, 30-21. But they have ZR Scott Alba AVC Mount Virgin way back. The electrons, they turned on. Something happened in the nuclear world here because Sarah now at 3.3 on the front, but they have just demolished the entire field here at this point. They're 30-21, 15-20 at the first check mark. Then, boom, way jumped up by almost a minute at that 20K marker. Now at 46, flat at 30. They've got less than 4K to go. And Art Electrons are showing us a Picasso here at this point. Now, 50 minutes into racing, the heart rates are flying. Now through to the front, it looks like, is going to be Gardner, 2.8. They continue to blob it up here a little bit. They're going shotgun method, it looks like. Full shotgun method, just steady 3.0s to 3.3 at the front. Izumi coming out of Japan takes over. You know, what I want to know, when you have these like really, really varying country flags across, and all of the different languages that could be spoken within one Discord, be kind of fun actually to see if they. Probably not though. Probably they find one language to all agree upon and then use that language. But I just love to see all the different country flags coming together, being the main point here. But now, see now making her way to the front. 2.6 watts per kilogram, 33.8 kilometers, and they've got 3 to go. 3 to go at this point. And is there going to be a challenge though? Is the question. I don't think so. I think that between the whole of the Vienna's crew here at this point, Adam Racing Team are just going to walk away with this one. So the real battle is going to be the Zed Sun versus Owl and AVC Mount Virgin. Evil Meteors are still in the conversation to try and take down Zed Sun as well as Owl Bike. So really those three are who we're going to keep our eyes on. The Electrons, they were the 7th to go out. ZR Scott Alba were actually the top ranked team coming in. They pulled a 32.09 though. So we go back to that team. Wonder if they're having a little bit of a struggle out here today. And is this going to be a new kit in game, or did I just miss this? ZR Scott Alba, loving this kit. Great look. Help me out here, chat. Do we have a new kit in game? CC Racing saying, proud, awesome coverage. Proud of CC Racing Mocha, 4th fastest over in Frappe. CC Racing Honey Mocha, 5th fastest overall. Proud to have 2 teams racing in PL for the first time. CC Racing, thanks for jumping into the broadcast. We always appreciate you and all of the hype that you bring to the world of Zwift racing. CC, one of these teams that have jumped onto the scene with passion and obviously been dominating as of recently. Aaron Bleakley, thanks Nathan G for that smash fest last night in the Kiwi crew. Hopefully we tweaked you up. You did. I spent so Aaron Bleakley coming in. I mentioned it earlier that I jumped into the Kiwi crew ride before the US cycling races went off, and had to make sure that we got those kicked off. So I was like, well, I'm up anyways. I need to get a ride in. So jumped in with the Kiwi crew ride. I had no idea that there was a riot at the end of the Kiwi crew ride, honestly. I got a message from Wes from Zwift Australia, in the private message in Zwift saying, I'm watching you, Nathan. You better win. Win what? I'm in a group ride. Like, what are you talking about? And then Wes is like, there's a riot at the end. I was like, a riot? Are we all going to be okay? Why is there a riot? Like, what are we talking about here? So, Cindy here just finishing up. That's why we jumped across. We'll see if we can get back in with the Art Electrons. Are going to help us out. And yeah, interesting enough, suddenly with 10 to go, who went off the front? Was it you, Bleakley? I think it was you, Bleakley, that attacked at like 10 watts per kilogram, and I had to close this gap, and you continued at 7 for like 2 minutes. I was absolutely dead this morning, Aaron, just trying to hold on to your wheel. And then my main excuse was I sent Wes an excuse for not winning afterwards. I was like, oh, we raced into the end of the time? I don't know. I've never raced to the end of a clock. I race lines. I don't know what we're doing here. That was my excuse for not winning. But Appreciate the Smash Fest. That was awesome this morning. Very much, Aaron Bleakley. It was great to see you guys. And I'm still sore. It was my good warm up for tonight's TTT. I am seeing Dan Pedroza come in. Dan, if you watched the broadcast back a little bit earlier, I gave a whole lowdown and watched the riders live who were making any kind of progress, doing it right, doing it wrong. We really took the surgical approach to how you should do a team time trial, and definitely check that out because I have a feeling it's going to help anybody who watches it back about how surging through the pack. I'm looking at you, Pedro, or any kind of those kinds of mistakes really can disrupt things at the front end. I'm gonna bring my A game tonight. I'm looking for a W today. Full gas tonight, Dan Pedrosa. If you're looking to watch that, you can come hang out. Actually, I don't want to just promote my own channel though, but definitely head on over to twitch.tv and check out the Zwift game category. Twitch.tv, and then go to the Zwift game category, and you will be able to find all kinds of people, besides myself, all kinds of people who are out there hammering away, doing their team time trial, sharing their Zwift Racing League, their training, whatever it might be. And the reason I push you to Twitch is because they do the best job of bringing together a community around a game currently in the world of streaming, and they have the best tools currently. I think that is just objectively true, honestly. Now, there is a reality that there are channels that do well on YouTube. I mean, our highest viewership is on YouTube, obviously. The highest viewership of a lot of cycling channels is on YouTube. That is an age thing. We're just going to say that is a generation thing. And as well as, the gaming scene versus like a general scene. But the easiest way, though, to get discovery of Zwift streams is right now is definitely going to be on Twitch, as we do have the Owls finishing up. Great job to the Owls. AVC looking to chase them down. ZR Scott there as well. 2K to go. 2K to go for our AVC team. Did Crush Pod come in as the... Let's see here for the Viennas. As Crush Pod... I'm seeing them in the riders nearby list. Interesting enough, but I'm not seeing them currently in with the times on the board at the moment. So interesting enough, but as they do finish up here, they're gonna have 2K to go. They're just coming across that line. Lots of teams. All going to bring in their final times here. 1K to go for the ZR Scott team. ZR Scott, they were, this is going to be the Aria. And Alba, this is Alba at 4807. 4807 for the Alba team. I believe we got 3.3K to go, though, it says. So maybe Aria and, let me just double check this here, because we've got multiple ZR Scotts. Actually, no, this is going to be the Alba team. Who we're looking at up ahead here are the Aria team at a 50-26. We'll see if they were able to bring anything back on WCC Infernos, who are quite a ways up, as well as the WTRL What's Up Bandits. So this is the battles here for 8th, 9th. Really, it's going to be the battle between 9th, 8th, and 7th place right now, playing out in front of us. As Aria make their way to the line, they really could only at this point probably take down a 8th place. Let's see when we do get the results on board. It's always cool to see after the race how these little battles ended up playing out. Blythe here, though, really needs to come across, as this is going to be crucial seconds for the team now at this point. AVC and all in Ukrainian flags. Good on them, mostly. Almost all with the Ukrainian flags, and it looks like all in a pretty good fashion setup as they make their way to the line. AVC Mount Virgin with a 47-24. They were one of the fastest teams coming through with that night. The only ZR Scott Alba were faster last week. Good on them. We'll see if they hold down for a top spot. Now it's going to be the ZR Scott Alba with the 48.07 Everybody, though, getting smashed today by the Atoms. Atom Racing team here now with the Electrons making it happen, keeping it electric at the top. They were ahead by a solid 148 at the 30-kilometer mark. The final team to come across for the Viennas in the women's category is going to be this ZR Scott Alba team. Crushpod Cortado are behind them, but I'm going to see perhaps we're waiting on some data to come through, or is Crushpod Cortada from another category? I think that's what's going on here. They just got mixed in for a start time here in this crew. Cortada with the 46.42, I'm seeing, and is actually in with the Vienna Lattes right now in the ranking. Interesting enough, but they did start here in this pens. It may have been a just spreading the teams out a little bit in the pens. Alba 48.07 at the last checkpoint. It's going to put them, I think, solidly right around a 5th or 6th place here at this point. This is going to be Fiona Davidson, Julie McTaggart, Lorna Church, Louise McParland, and Louise Presley. And a lot of experience on this that our Scott Alba team. 70 races for McParland. The next up, runner up there is going to be Presley, Louise Presley, there with 54. All of them well into 30 plus to 40 plus races with the WTRL team time trial. Very committed riders when it comes to this weekly awesomeness that we do have out here out on Zwift. As they do finish up, we are going to bring in the results. Before we do that, we'll get a little bit of Nathan hanging out in Crit City time. If you haven't done so, you're new to this broadcast. It's a little bit quieter this week. Dave is on the road. He may be on the road again next week. Maybe we'll bring in a new commentator alongside me for next week to get a little bit more back and forth. But today, a little bit more of an educational day. We like when the chat comes on through. There's a lot of experience in the community that we can bring around this water cooler of racing to talk about what is happening in the race scene. If you didn't check out the knockouts yesterday, myself and Dave Towle did the commentary on the Zwift knockouts yesterday. That new format looks like one of the coolest formats. The experience of it yesterday, it looked like was awesome for every one of the teams. Even the teams, I think, who got knocked out yesterday, to the bottom two teams amongst the men and the women's Premier Division level of racing, even those teams, I think, had a good time. Like, I think that they showed up, and especially we saw with Sarah Snowpins yesterday, everybody, how they were taking those risks to make the race happen. Next Esports and the way they went at it, the ability for Team Italy to shine yesterday because they took some risks in a way that they would. That if you haven't watched this, though, I mean, I'm referencing some of the things that some of you might be like, what are you talking about? That men's race with Team Italy and knocking out WLC yesterday, everybody, that's what knockouts is all about. That's what taking the risks in esports are all about. That's about strategy and, a team getting into a situation where you've completely removed the Watts Fest because WLC on paper is the stronger team. Team Italy is not the stronger team, at least from what I've seen in the last couple of a year or so. If I were just, I guess I don't have science for you right now. This is a Nathan perspective. I've been watching esports for a while, and WLC definitely one of the strongest teams out there. Team Italy took a risk, put 2 in the break. Who would have thought a break was going to go into knockout? We've got a guy like Turk on the front from Next Esports just making things insane. And next thing you know, you've got 2 riders from Team Italy just gobbling up points up front. So really cool to see the knockouts racing. Team Electric Spirit Co. yesterday, what Beast Mode did amongst that crew, oh my gosh, that was amazing. The show up of Sammy Stewart and showing that she's not just a sprinter yesterday. If you didn't watch the knockouts, it was one of the best broadcasts we've seen in a long time when it comes to a format of racing. I might have been a little bit hype if you didn't notice because I was really excited about what was going on. Karsten says, let's have a knockout at the community level. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously things need to get built, right, Karsten? But we'll see what happens. As a test mode, I would assume that that's what we're after here, right? So I did get a couple of messages from Martin during the broadcast, so who knows? We'll see what ends up happening. I'd be super excited to see something like that. Obviously, I'm all about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results, though, as we are for the women. We already did take a look at the men's. If you are looking for the men's results, we're not going to go through them again. Head on over to WTRL.racing or go ahead and rewind the broadcast a little bit as we did go through them. On the women's side of things, though, we've got in the Vienna Espressos, BBB taking it down out of the Platinum League with a 52-11 crush pod off of Gattos, keeping us caffeinated 29 seconds back, 52-41. Enzebro Pavlovas with the 53-23, and it's going to be TFC Vixen in fourth place, coming on through. In with the Vienna Frappe, Sox Rots Odd Sox 52-38, doing what they've done week in and week out. They are dominating. Who's going to unseat them? Shout out to the community. Put something together. We've got to challenge these Odd Sox in this Vienna Frappe. Ray Vaughn come through with the 53-20 out of the Platinum League. Electric Spirit Co. Cosmonaut there with the 53-36. Shout out to them again yesterday. Saw Katie out here racing again. Nice job. Fourth place for NZ Bro. Ghost Chups 54-11. It's going to be fifth place for Coalition Amathea 54-27. The Crush Pod Spiced Frappe in sixth place, 54-32. Seventh goes to B2B, 55-44 is the time for the ladies from B2B, holding down seventh. Now to the Vienna Lattes. Crate Crushers pull it off. They were in third, coming through. They were in third place, coming through. Wait, what was that time? I'm actually going to bring this up because this was a complete turnaround. Look at this. The Crane Crushers with a 29.49, they were behind the Team Bs at that 20K marker. But look back at that 14.59. Galaxy Supernova Velocity were ahead of them. Galaxy Supernova Velocity fell back, it looks like, at that second checkpoint. If we look at each one of these here, I'm going to go ahead and go to the 10K marker. Supernova, Crank Crushers, okay. Then Kirschberg Team Bs. Then if you do this, Crank Crushers is the Team Bs that take over at the top. Ha! And then we go to here, and it's the Crank Crushers take over at the end for that final. Galaxy Supernova. What ended up happening, though? Supernova, hold on for that second. Team Bs fall backwards, obviously, to 22 seconds. Couldn't hold down the power on this train of a course here. It's all about that powertrain here out here today as the big engines come through, and I think that's going to be the Crank Crushers. Galaxy Supernova Surge there in fourth there. Crush Pod Cortada in fifth. It's Rave Against the Machine in sixth at a 57.22. And then it's going to be Zert Juliet in for seventh. Zedson Pluto, eighth place there. Vegan Mint at a 58.45. 1 second difference between the Rockies and Vegan Mint. Lots of Platinum League in there. Nice job to the lady. And last but not even close to least, it is going to be Adam Racing Team Electrons with the 56.16. They had over a 2-minute gap actually at one point, but AVC Mount Virgin bring back some time, but it's not even close to enough. They battled, though, and got a second. All Bike. Motor Women Lycra coming on through at a 58.19 in third place. Zedson Hydra in fourth. It's going to be ZR Scott Alba falling back to fifth this week. The fastest coming in last week. So going back to do some homework about the flats of Tempest Fusion. Evil Meteors in sixth at a 59. And Zebro Pie Sandwiches in seventh. It's going to be WCC Inferno's just outside of an hour. Whew, that's a lot of racing. In eighth, WTRL. What's up, Bandits? Good job to the Bandits. Stealing it in ninth. It's going to be ZR Scott Aria in 10th place. Next week, for number 158. Ouch! Greater London 8. 24.3 kilometers. A little bit shorter course out here, but I think we're going to have a little bit of climbing. Whew, that one's going to hurt. Make sure to register. 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Central, and 7 p.m. UTC. Next Wednesday is when registration closes for your team, so get registered for next week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Number 157 for the Platinum League is done and dusted. Katie Loker, great to see you in the chat. Dan Pedrosa, what are you talking about? 40 laps of Crit City for 40 riders? Gordon says elimination would be a great format, either one at a time of percentage for bigger fields. Gordon, I love it. Oh, okay, gotcha. 40 laps Crit City and just one at a time. This has been a conversation actually for a while, going back quite a few years. And I know it is on minds. You know that fence? We had conversations about this on Zwiftcast. If you don't know, if you didn't see, I know a little bit of this community might not be Zwiftcast community as well, but the Zwiftcast will be ending. Our next episode will be the final episode, at least for Simon. It's going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll see if something new comes up for the Zwiftcast for some sort of leadership there. I don't know how we're going to replace Simon Schofield, so the final Zwiftcast will be coming up, and I'm not going to cry right now, but oh man. Anyways, it's been a long, awesome road hanging out on the Zwiftcast. But we did talk about that a ton on past Zwiftcasts, actually, about using the fence, but using it instead of in front, behind. Let's just put the fence behind the pack. And then if you're the last person with that fence, see you later. So the fence will always just be there. And then you have something visible, though, right? So the fence is always just right on that last person, and it's always going to be moving right where that last person is. So you have something identifiable to know exactly where you need to be before you actually get eliminated. But track format, yeah, exactly. Maybe elimination bottom 5 riders for fields of 100 or 20 laps. Liking it, Dan. Liking it a lot. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for our coverage of number 157. I really appreciate everybody jumping in and hanging out with us today. We will see you. Well, you can actually watch another broadcast with the Anzac Challenge coming up. It is already listed on our YouTube. I'm not sure if Anna's going to. I think Anna is going to be on that. I'm not sure the talents that she's bringing to the table. Anna's doing an amazing job on productions. Great job. Big shout out to her. If you haven't followed Anna Zwift Racer over on all of her socials, make sure to do so. She has skilled up like crazy. And then obviously next week, we are out on the Libby Hill after party for ZRL race number 4. Whew. That is going to be a barn burner because lots of points up for grabs, and then that final over the top. I have a feeling we're going to see some tactics. I think yesterday's knockout race kind of maybe a little bit of a fire and gave people some hope that you can get away on a course like Richmond. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. As always, hit those follow buttons. Like, subscribe, comment, helps the channel out a ton. I'll be live on Twitch later tonight for some more personal racing. Go check out some of those riders right now for the rest of the day for all the zones. And on WTRL.racing for all of those results. And as always, people, right on.